I never thought it would come to this. My parents, people who were supposed to love and respect my independence, kept breaking into my apartment. At first, it was small things. A framed photo moved slightly, a half-empty snack gone. I told myself it was harmless, that maybe they were just worried about me. But then it escalated. One night, I returned home from work to find the door unlocked. My heart raced as I stepped inside, expecting silence, expecting peace. Instead, I found my parents sitting on my couch, flipping through my things like it was theirs. My laptop was open, my personal letters scattered across the table, and when they saw me, they didn't even flinch. "Why didn't you answer our calls?" my mother demanded. My father just smirked. It wasn't concern in their eyes, it was control. Every word, every gesture, screamed that my life was theirs to monitor. I felt trapped, angry, humiliated. I never thought it would come to this. My parents, people who were supposed to love and respect my independence, kept breaking into my apartment. At first, it was small things. A framed photo moved slightly, a half-empty snack gone. I told myself it was harmless, that maybe they were just worried about me. But then it escalated. One night, I returned home from work to find the door unlocked. My heart raced as I stepped inside, expecting silence, expecting peace. Instead, I found my parents sitting on my couch, flipping through my things like it was theirs. My laptop was open, my personal letters scattered across the table, and when they saw me, they didn't even flinch. "Why didn't you answer our calls?" my mother demanded. My father just smirked. It wasn't concern in their eyes, it was control. Every word, every gesture screamed that my life was theirs to monitor. I felt trapped, angry, humiliated. I realized then that this wasn't just about me moving out. This was about something much bigger, and I had no idea how far they were willing to go. That night, I made a decision that would change everything, and it would lead them straight into the hands of the police. By the time I checked the news later that evening, my stomach dropped. The headline screamed, "Apartment break-in leads to police investigation." The article detailed repeated unauthorized entries, describing a couple determined to monitor their adult child's life. The authorities had been called by my neighbors, and now my parents were facing the consequences of their obsession. I should have felt vindicated, maybe even relieved, but all I felt was dread. My heart pounded every time I thought of what might happen next. They had always been unpredictable, and now they were cornered. And then, at 2 a.m., I got a call from an unknown number. A voice I recognized instantly whispered, "You can't hide forever. We'll find you." They didn't know where I had gone, but they were already plotting their next move, and I realized my escape was only the beginning of a dangerous game. After that late-night call, I couldn't sleep. Every shadow in my new apartment seemed to move. Every sound felt like a warning. I had escaped their immediate grasp, but their presence lingered like a dark cloud over my life. I changed my routines completely. New grocery store, new routes, even new friends I could trust. Every precaution I took was to make sure they could never track me down. But no matter how careful I was, the fear was constant. I couldn't shake the feeling that they were watching, even from a distance. Then it happened. A note slipped under my door. No signature, no message, just a single line, written in shaky handwriting I recognized immediately. "You think you're safe?" My heart sank. My parents had escalated. This wasn't just about control anymore. It was intimidation. I started documenting everything, every call, every suspicious car, every unknown number that appeared on my phone. I even considered getting a security system with cameras, but I knew the real solution wasn't surveillance. I needed a plan to end this once and for all. The tension grew unbearable. I found myself checking every corner of my apartment, imagining them lurking, waiting for the right moment to strike. Memories of the countless times they had broken in flooded back. The trust I had lost, the privacy they had stolen. And with every memory, my resolve hardened. Late one night, while reviewing the footage from my hidden cameras outside the building, I froze. A familiar car was parked across the street. The license plate partially obscured, but unmistakable. The same car my parents had driven countless times to my old apartment. They were closer than I thought. And this time, I realized my escape might not be enough to keep them away. Something drastic had to happen, and soon. The sight of that familiar car parked across the street made my blood run cold. I had taken every precaution, yet here they were, bold and unrelenting. My heart raced, but I knew panicking wouldn't help. I had to think, plan, and act carefully. I grabbed my phone and called the local police, explaining everything: the break-ins, the threats, the harassment. At first, they seemed skeptical. "It's family," one officer said, almost dismissively. "Are you sure this warrants action?" But I didn't hesitate. I handed over all the evidence I had collected: photos, videos, notes, messages. Every tiny invasion documented. Within an hour, a patrol car appeared in my neighborhood. I watched from a distance, trying not to breathe too loudly. My parents were still parked outside, their faces twisted in frustration, as they realized the police had arrived. Their control was slipping, and I felt a small, bitter satisfaction. The officers approached them calmly but firmly, asking questions, reviewing the complaints. My parents' shock was palpable. They had never imagined that their obsession could backfire so completely. They argued, pleaded, and even tried to manipulate the officers, but the evidence was irrefutable. Each video, each note, each neighbor's statement painted a clear picture. They had crossed the line too many times. From my safe distance, I felt a mix of fear and relief. Fear, because I knew their obsession wasn't gone. Relief, because for the first time in months, I felt the faintest hint of freedom. The officers escorted my parents away for questioning, leaving me standing alone on the sidewalk, my chest heaving with adrenaline. But even as I watched them disappear into the patrol car, I knew this wasn't the end. Their pride and anger would not vanish overnight, and deep down, I realized that the real battle, protecting my life, my peace, my independence, was only just beginning. Later that night, as I tried to sleep, a single message appeared on my phone. "This isn't over. We'll see you soon." That message on my phone made my blood run cold. "This isn't over. We'll see you soon." Their obsession hadn't vanished. It had only shifted. I realized that true freedom wouldn't come from running. It would come from standing my ground. I contacted the police again, explaining that any further attempts to contact or approach me would be considered harassment. I also hired a lawyer to ensure a restraining order would be enforced. Every precaution I could take, I took. My apartment was secured, my location carefully hidden, and my life rebuilt step by step. Days passed, weeks. Every unexpected sound made my heart race, but gradually, I began to breathe more freely. I focused on myself, my job, my friends, my peace of mind. For the first time in years, I felt in control of my life. The fear that had once dominated me began to fade. Then, unexpectedly, my parents stopped contacting me. No calls, no messages, no threats. The police confirmed that the restraining order had been delivered, and for now, they were legally barred from approaching me. It was surreal, almost dreamlike, to realize that my independence was finally protected. But the experience left its mark. I had learned the hard way that sometimes those closest to you can become the ones you need to defend yourself from. I had discovered strength I didn't know I had, courage that had been buried under years of fear. and a fierce determination to never allow anyone to control my life again. Sitting alone in my apartment that night, I thought about how far I had come, from being trapped and watched to taking the steps that finally put me in charge of my own life. The scars would remain, but so would the freedom I fought for. I had escaped the people who should have loved me most, and in doing so, I finally discovered what it truly means to be free. But I'll never forget the night my life changed forever.